Penang. The source of our char kway teow, asam laksa, rojak, hojak is also the source of our current Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. The place is basically Malaysia's technological capital, our Silicon Valley of the East, and greatest producer of scientific talent and very, very smart people. Seriously, almost all of our IMO medalists come from there, as do almost every single person who studies at MIT. From Malaysia, that is. Kari Jamaluddin might declare that Petronas is the crown jewel of Malaysia.
Petronas ni kalau istilah dia dalam bahasa Inggeris adalah the crown jewel of Malaysia.
But my response to that is, how long can it be the crown jewel of Malaysia? Oil is finite and it will eventually run out, which is why anyone who knows and cares about Malaysia has to look to Penang. But well, not everybody likes that. Enter Malaysia's #1 Penang hater, Ismail Sabri Yaakob. Now, I don't know whether Ismail Sabri Yaakob is a real person. He just seems to have a personal vendetta against Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob to the point of using his actual date of birth and pretending that he is a murtad. He came in after my Why is Malaysia importing Palestinian criminals video and leaving comments like this. Victor, you must be silenced through the use of Akta Hasutan Section 233 of the CMA and waging war on the YDP Agong. You are a Chinese immigrant who is racist and bigot. Okay, not sure how I feel about someone calling me a racist and a bigot while being a racist and a bigot himself. Clap hands. As Perkara 160 declares, any Malaysian who speaks Malay and professes Islam are Malays. The Palestinians who come here can be resettled in Bagan, parliamentary seat in Penang, and other DAP 19 seats, so Penang can have a Muslim chief minister. Today, Penang is under a Chinese apartheid regime like Israel. Now, apart from the obvious weird take on democracy and resettling the Palestinians that this guy has, not sure why he's so obsessed with the idea of a Muslim chief minister, especially when on his YouTube profile he claims that he is a murtad, which is kind of a red flag. Why are you advocating for a Muslim ruler when you yourself are a murtad, which I'm pretty sure you can't be in Malaysia without any legal repercussions? So, authorities, maybe you want to investigate? Meanwhile, after he gets into a war with some of the commenters here, he says, I am already educated. I have a PhD. Pretty sure that PhD is permanent hit damage though, Dr. Ismail, especially since you also commented, Siti Mastura seorang berketurunan Cina dan nama penuh beliau Siti Mastura Lim Mei Ling. I just think it's fascinating how the PhDs of our country like to come together and yap while declaring that they have doctorates as if their doctorate proves that they can say anything they want, have no factual verification, and everybody must believe that. Oh, and lastly, he says, do not think I misused the word apartheid. Penang is indeed an apartheid regime under DAP, and Muslims are being ethnically cleansed and massacred like Palestinians. I demand freedom for Penangites free from Chinese apartheid rule. Wow. I don't even know whether this guy understands ethnic cleansing or massacring, for that matter. It sounds like he can barely understand kindergarten vocabulary, but somehow or another he wants to go out there and try to convince people to hate Penang. And I'm like, bro, what? Can you just chill for a quick bit? Why he's doing that, why he's saying this, I don't really know right there. But seriously, these kinds of comments are unacceptable. Which is why, on the off chance that this is a real person and y'all actually know where he's from, please let the world know who this person is. And if you're a Penangite, please consider making a police report to expose this person and his ridiculous comments to the world, because the police do respond to a large number of reports against a single person, and your actions would really help to deal with this person out there who is not just throwing out racist rhetoric but wants to manipulate Penang's democracy by bringing in Palestinians. The really wild part of this is that even if this guy seems like a crazy person, some of his thoughts are actually echoed by some people out there. Even now, you have a full-on chief minister going out there and saying that Kedah actually owns Penang and they need to claim it back. The same way that Donald Trump would like to claim Canada, relying on history arguments one after another as he escapes his flooded official residence. How fun! Looks like we can accept China's historical arguments to claim our landmasses under the 9-dash line, right, Sanusi? Anyone who has ever observed Malaysia knows the only reason why this guy and millions of other ants like him come out there and mock Penang, try to bring it down, is because they are jealous. See, while it's true that Penang is Chinese dominated, it is also one of the richest states in Malaysia because of its E&E industry. After Kuala Lumpur, it has the highest GDP per capita of all the states in Malaysia. It receives huge FDI in high-tech and semiconductor industries, while states like Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, they suffer with corruption, underdevelopment, and poverty. All these people going out there and yapping, if only Penang were a part of us, we would be as rich as them. Though everybody knows that is a lie. Meanwhile, they go back and try to get votes from stupid people by talking about race and religion, while in Penang, the leaders just talk about investing until the state has become successful. And in fact, that kind of success is exactly what Malaysia should be admiring. If the people of Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu actually put their minds to it, they could actually make it so that they themselves would become successful, develop their state, so people would actually think of those places as part of heaven rather than hell, and people would want to retire in Kedah and Kelantan rather than moving out because they think that these states are literal hellholes. Instead, here you have it with people like Ismail Sabri Yaakob, who claim that somehow or another Penang did such horrible things to Malaysia that he has to resort to election manipulation in order to make it so that the Malays can control Penang again. Well, newsflash for you, Ismail Sabri. Anybody who has any sense whatsoever will know that you're only talking nonsense because you're trying to distract from the fact that PAS cannot develop the states that are actually under its control, and somehow or another you want to reclaim the pride that you never actually had by pushing the narrative that, oh, Penang is the problem. It is wild, it is sad, and it is unfortunate. Whoever this Ismail Sabri Yaakob dude is, I encourage him to bertaubat lah. And that's especially relevant since he claims that somehow he is a murtad, which raises confusion about why he wants a Muslim leader since he claims to have left the religion, and why he is even making these comments out there. And so, whether you are Chinese, Malay, or Indian, I recommend that you please consider making a police report to PDRM today concerning this Ismail Sabri Yaakob, and let's have him learn the hard way that it's not about race, it's not about religion. We are a multicultural society, and if you mess with Malaysia, then siapa yang makan chili, dialah yang rasa pedas. Alright, and that's all I have to say about that. Thanks, and bye.